The hardest part of beating Fallout 4 on survival mode is not killing yourself in the process. And no, I'm not referring to the in-game. In an effort to prove just how easy it is, we decided to beat the entire 20-hour-long campaign without dying.
This means dealing with a reduced carry capacity and increased enemy damage, as well as food, water, and sleep management. To accomplish this, we needed the ultimate warrior. Instead, we got Simon. Not gonna lie, this guy looks like my granddad. Because we were in a degree of a hurry to complete the challenge, we rushed through the intro and dashed down to Concord, where we obtained the T-45 and minigun combo. Once armored, we dipped into the speakeasy before racing off to Satellite Station Olivia in the hopes of gathering more 5mm rounds. In an effort to conserve said ammo, I attempted to take out Ack with a machete. Yeah.
Unfortunately, resulting in our first shameful defeat by an unworthy enemy.
Thus, we decided to begin again. Instead of rushing around and wasting time on future deaths, we opted for the Odysseus approach of planning every battle. We would massively overprepare and kill everything everywhere all the time.
As you might guess, the opening days of our second attempt were merciless. With the Vobtech scientist outfit to increase our intelligence, we collected dog meat, armor, weapons, exo, and it took the Long Wanderer perk. With those things, it wasn't even risky hunting 4 Galguai and grabbing a couple extra fusion cores. Just bearing your tiny minds that this wouldn't be worth doing without first obtaining the Wasteland Survival Guide from Sometime Titans Co-op.
With 8 Yaoguai ribs to bolster our damage, the assault on Olivia Station proceeded swimmingly. By luring the raiders into landmines, we limited opportunities for resistance and came away with our first mini-nuke, a fusion core, and a 5mm resupply. Despite the overwhelming victory, battle fatigue still plagued us, so we retreated to Red Rocket truck stop and had a well-deserved nap. The respite restored our stats, but ammo reserves weren't optimal, and we still wanted more fusion cores.
A few tips for fusion cores: get nuclear physicists early to increase their longevity, remove them before they're depleted because they sell for the same price regardless, and don't carry too many. Like you, they're stupidly heavy and everywhere. They can be found at the Robotics Disposal Ground, under Red Rocket, in the Museum of Freedom, in transport cages if you have Hacker, and on the overpass near the Cambridge Police Station. The latter comes with a full suit of undamaged power armor.
With our core search concluded, we made our chat systems and whatever the fuck footnotes in our fame. Even though it took a couple of hours to do, it was less fun a trifle. Ones we only suffered in the hopes of expediting any additional Brotherhood initiation. Then, somewhat undercutting our prior scrounging, we found not 4 or even 8 fusion cores, but 12 in Baton City. 8 being in Kellogg's house alone and therefore unavoidable.
Though unnecessary, we didn't mind having the excess. The Brotherhood of Steel Armory would soon be ours to enjoy, granting a Gatling laser I assumed would carry us through the remainder of the campaign. That wouldn't prove to be the case though, as they are apparently only sold after level 20 and we were merely 14 by the time of arrival. Fortunately, even without knowing this, my cautious acquisition of Spray and Pray left us thoroughly enough equipped to prevail at Fort Strong. After which, we returned to the Cambridge Police Station armed with a blood-cursed T-60 and 3 mini-mooks because I'd spotted another on a crate during departure.
Unfortunately, my sister's aforementioned caution kept us from raiding the Glowing Sea.
The campaign is psychosis-inducingly bad.
We know. Thus began preparations for a potential trump card and P60 repairs. That meant a visit to Hardware Town, which is stacked with supplies.
After which, we scrounged up Grog Max Axe and other comic paraphernalia. We didn't need to do this necessarily, but the axe has a special stagger effect that comes in clutch when meleeing Deathclaws. And across the street, we collected the Iron Helmet because it looks cool, honestly, and grants strength and endurance bonuses.
This was when we started boosting the Big Leagues perk, even with the stagger effect, an axe that only deals 50 damage would provide no defense. Theory or no, we'd be no match for the mighty Death Lizard.
One other idea remained that would seemingly guarantee victory, so we aimed at Fairline Hills Estate's Yaoguai. Then I think for food, we went into a shed outside of Diamond City and slew a bunch of more rats. One of them possessed a legendary item that saved us numerous times throughout the campaign. With it, I more comfortably faced 3 bears in single combat with a comic store cleaver, acquiring the secret ingredients of our supposed secret ingredient soup. Yeah, I know, voice crack, shut up.
You're the only one that cares, sister. Preparations all made, the raid on the glowing sea began.
Shortly after, a sentry bot demanded an alarming depletion of our 5 mini-nuke stockpile. At the same time, it showed that rockets would be of little or no use going forward. As such, we attempted to conserve ammo by employing melee as much as possible while considering routes to avoid combat. That mistake left us wrong-footed against our second unworthy adversaries.
If not for the mole rats, auto stim, and nerd rage, the bloodbug's next attack would have been our end. Having already been anxious about fighting Deathclaw, though, we ingested everything we could. Buff out Excel, Psycho, Mentats, Medax, Quantum, White Ribs, Roast, and an inhuman amount water. The combined power had Deathclaw crumbling like puppets with cut strings. Even when they landed hits, our health rebounded so fast that we weren't even sure we'd been struck at all. Crazier yet was the fact that because of our rise in adrenaline, Groth Max Axe was getting more powerful.
None of 7 Deathclaws survived a single swing, so by the time we'd killed half the glowing sea, Grodnax Axe had reached 733 damage, and we'd talked to Virgil. The only problem with going after a courser at this point was that we'd lose the thrill of savagery. As such, we sounded the drums of war and brought down the mightiest enemy we could. Not that the Hellfire Troopers of the Enclave were any match for our unprecedented and ever-increasing power. You might be thinking, roll credits, there's no point needing continuing. But even with so much power, there were other challenges to overcome. Of course, we could have done those without actually playing the campaign, and that would have been much better.
Following our unprecedented victory in the glowing sea, we took on rank 2 of Chem Resistant. With addiction immunity, we could effectively toggle invulnerability so long as the needed materials were available. For that reason, we went on another Yao Guai hunt with our eyes set on Murkwater construction site. Along the way, we'd be able to knock off a couple of bears, collect the mini Mukerdu, and acquire excellent Excel substitutes.
There were a couple of hiccups, though, because invulnerability needed to be deployed sparingly. Dehydration was also becoming an issue as we used chems more frequently.
We were still kicking tremendous ass, though, so I insisted we attack a milder queen.
Which was humbling, educational, and terrifying.
I rushed in carelessly, thinking I'd be able to one-shot the thing, but was swatted before my first attack, knocking off a huge health chunk. Off guard, I tried Vats only for it to claim that there was no possibility of landing a hit on a 20-foot-tall lobster. Unable to target, acid raining, and health depleting rapidly, I retreated to ingest and inject before another attack.
It somehow got worse.
My health dropped to 6% from a fully copped swing and would have plummeted fatally had I not brought up the Pip-Boy quickly enough. That's when we did all the chems and went in for another attack.
That battle ended in victory, after which the only thing that gave us any trouble was a group of supermutants I was undermotivated to defeat.
And Liberty Prime, who non-fatally nuked us for trying to take his kill.
We'll find new challenges to do unrelated to the campaign in the future because this just sucked beyond words.